Today, we're talking about a lot of different things, but we're going to really focus on post-purchase CRO, cart recovery, and kind of some customer support and retention. And I'm joined by Eric. Eric's going to be sharing us some of his best tips and tricks in some of the categories that I mentioned. Eric, welcome, and how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm doing well, thanks, man. I know before this, we were talking about a lot of stuff. You had an 8-figure e-commerce business. You now run a software business. You've done a lot. You've seen a lot of things. You've been on the tech side, you've been on the merchant side. So I think you're going to be a really interesting person to share some tips and tricks. Do you want to kind of share really quickly what you're working on right now before we dive in?
Sure. So our main product is called ReConvert. It's a post-purchase one-click upsell offer app on Shopify, as well as a thank you page drag and drop editor. We have a bunch of other products, and we're also working on exploring other parts of the funnel, the purchase funnel. But yeah, definitely the main product is ReConvert. So that's where our main focus is. We just released the new version. We call it ReConvert 3.0 with this entire new APIs by Shopify. It works great. Customers are loving it. Yeah, that's kind of the big thing we're doing.
Nice. And for you personally, like, okay, so you were running an 8-figure store that it sounds like you sold. Did you have an aha moment when you were running that store, and that what's led to this? Or like, why are you building this, and what are you exactly solving?
All right, let me tell you a little bit about myself and my story. So I started as a Shopify merchant or dropshipper back in 2015. One of my friends just told me, dude, let's just open up a store. I didn't have any technical knowledge or e-commerce knowledge or anything like that. So we learned everything from scratch. We launched our first store, failed miserably for about 3 years, lost a lot of money. And then we did a lot of things right, but the business model behind it didn't go right. But we had no one to tell us what we've been doing wrong. I mean, 2015, doing Shopify, it wasn't as available as it is today. Things were a little bit harder back in the day. Some things were easier, but you know what I mean. So we did a lot of things right. And then after 2 years of failing, when we finally understood the business model was wrong, we kind of switched it up, used all the information and data we gathered we already had very mature pixels in pretty much all the platforms. We just sold the wrong products from the wrong manufacturers to the wrong people, but everything else was ready. So we just switched it up and then scaled it up really, really fast from pretty much nothing to about $1 million in monthly revenue in a few months. At that point, I realized that this entire logistic thing it's not for me. The same questions coming up all the time. And by this time, I've been 3 years a merchant, and I was kind of aware for the pain points of merchants and what's missing on the Shopify ecosystem and how I can help other merchants. And I also had this traction towards the App Store and new technologies coming out. I used to take advantage of new apps that coming out and try to, get ahead of the curve. And so I built this list over time of things I know that are missing and needs to be built better or just missing completely. And then I just sold my half of the company to my previous partner. The store is still running, it's still successful. And I started this business with my sister. She also had a store, much smaller store. And then we just wanted to launch our first app. So we just launched a very small app to test the water and see that we understand the process. We are both not developers, not technical people. So we outsourced the development team. And once this app was live, we moved on to the next app, which was ReConvert, and that one exploded right away. In terms of pain points, we are looking to, when we build a new app, we think about two things. Either one feature that is completely missing for merchants that are completely incapable of doing that, and then we try to build it in a way that it's a big sea of merchants. There are almost 2 million Shopify merchants. So even if small percentage of these merchants are searching for this specific feature, then you're going to be the only one providing it. You will get some traffic and some users. The first one good example would be order merger. We have an app that automatically recognizes 2 orders that are pretty much from the same customer and they're both unfulfilled, and they merge them into a single order, and then merchants save a lot on shipping. So that's a good example for something we built. We were the only one who are doing that, and that's why we have a lot of customers. So that's one thing. The other thing would be conversion rate optimization and revenue generation. We always think everything we built is built towards conversions, built towards extra revenue. And we really try to make everything very accurate in a way that, first of all, attribution, we never try to steal sales and say this is our revenue when it's really not. So unless it's like 95% our revenue, we're not going to count it. Because as a merchant, I remember how frustrating it was when you have this app that's saying that like 50% of your orders on the store came from this app, and it doesn't make any sense. So that's one thing we care about is analytics. And the second, again, is just making sure that everything is geared to conversion. The defaults, the widgets, everything is built in a way that is like, we're trying to keep optimize it over time always so that merchants can enjoy it. Specifically with ReConvert, again, this is the post-purchase optimization. The thing is, we realized merchants back in the day didn't have access to the Shopify thank you page. And that was awful. There've been a few page builders for the thank you page, but nothing related to conversions. Like you can add social widgets, you can add a video, but nothing that can really generate extra revenue. So we just built it in a way that we make it quick. We made it an accelerated checkout and a way for the customer to really buy again. And it works like magic. So you start seeing thank you pages going from 0% conversion rate all the way to 10% conversion rate. Depends on the store and the offer, obviously. And then we added this segmentation option, kind of like Klaviyo, that allows you to display a complete different thank you page based on either customer information, order information, or product purchase information. And you can really use anything available in the Shopify API. So it can be product weight, number of items in the cart, SKU, number of purchases, country, anything you want, fulfillment status. And then you can really optimize the offer based on that, because as you know, by default, Shopify get customers back to the thank you page from transactional emails, shipping confirmation, order confirmation. And from what we've seen in our data is that an average customer gets back to the thank you page 2.7 times per order, probably because of these emails. Okay, so it's even 3 times more important to optimize this page, and many merchants just don't. So it all started from the thank you page. Now we're adding this new step between the checkout and the thank you page. It's kind of new, so if there are any stores still not using it, if you're using Shopify payments or the Shopify checkout and you're not still optimizing this one-click post-purchase upsell offers, you should do this as fast as you can, because the conversion rate and the additional revenue is insane compared to everything we've seen until now.
Wow. Yeah, this is great. Okay, so I guess let's round this out. You kind of gave some insight and some tips, right? So you're seeing folks go from converting no revenue to upwards of 10% of additional revenue based off of, optimizing a thank you page. You mentioned about the step kind of before that. What other tips and tricks do you have that's kind of applicable to maybe your tool, but maybe applicable to anyone's tool, just so we can kind of give people some value, like on post-purchase, cart recovery? What are your best tips or tricks? It can be anything.
Yeah. All right. First of all, when saying optimizing the post-purchase experience with post-purchase offer and the thank you page specifically, you don't have to use ReConvert. There are tons of other alternatives, a lot of great other services that are doing this. The thing that we do see that works usually is just offering the same product purchased at an additional discount. Again, depends on the store, but in most cases, if you just display something like get one more for 20% discount only now, only for the next 2 minutes, it works. The conversion rate usually is highest, especially if you want to do it on bulk across the entire store and not just customize each offer to each product, especially for stores with thousands of products. That can be very complex. And then usually depends on if they accept the first offer or decline the first offer. The next one would be if they decline it, usually you just offer the same product with even bigger discount. And then it works, to be honest. And then if not, you just display another product, another recommended product. You can use a few AIs we have integration with a few recommendations tools. But again, not just ReConvert, but that's the thing that works. Obviously, if you add some sort of urgency to that offer, that's great. So these are the things that are working for the post-purchase offer. And you do want to make sure that for each order, you have this offer displayed. If not, then you're just leaving money on the table. As for the thank you page, the same things applied. Usually, if you can offer the same product purchased, they are going to take it even the next time they visit the thank you page, product recommendation section, and you want to offer multiple types of offers because each customer is going to respond to a different type of trigger. So you really want to offer a few different widgets. We also you can add an order tracking widget to your thank you page. Again, because Shopify get customer backs to the thank you page, especially when there is tracking number available, and then they get to the thank you page and there is no way to track the order. So you can add an order tracking widget to your thank you page. And we also offer the one thing that converts the most is a pop-up with a time-sensitive offer. So you visit the thank you page and then you get a pop-up saying for the next 20 minutes, you got X% off the entire store. And then there is like a timer reminder at the bottom and the discount automatically applies. Customers are loving it because then they can also choose whatever they want from the store. So you offer the same product with the biggest discount, a bunch of recommended products with a different discount, and then you can give them a lower discount across the entire store if they want something else. And then everyone can find something they like. So these are the things that works best. And obviously segmentation. So if you have, and this is where it gets advanced, and this is where it gets every merchant to himself and his brand. You need to figure out what are the offers that's going to work best for you and build them to display for these specific cases, and that's probably going to work best for you. So this is with upselling and post-purchase experience. Now let's talk about other stuff. When it comes to cart recovery, first of all, do cart recovery. Okay, I do think that on your level and the merchants you're talking with, that's definitely probably not an issue, but don't just use the default one email or something like that. Really optimize it and segment it based on the different types of customers you got. Do optimize it based on opens. Wait, is this still a thing or it's already deleted? I heard a thing about open rates disappearing from the analytics. Is that still
it's kind of somewhere in between. So like iOS 15 rolled out on September 20th, which basically masks the open rates for specific Apple users that have adopted it or kind of opted in. Right now, when I last checked, I think the adoption or opt-in rate is about 25 or 30% of Apple devices. So, if Apple, constitutes, let's say 30 or 40% of the people on your list, 25% of that, right? So whatever that math comes out to have opted in. So it is kind of slowly in effect, but it hasn't been as drastic as we initially thought quite yet. But that's obviously subject to change.
All right, that's okay. Thank you for the information. Yeah. Just learned something. Yeah, so definitely you want to keep optimizing your flow based on openers, and that's very important. Specifically, with the most powerful flow for each store is cart recovery. By far, it's abandoned checkouts are by far the easiest money in e-commerce. And if you really, this is the one flow you really want to keep optimizing and split testing. If you send an email, let's say 40 minutes or I don't know, 10 minutes after someone abandoned their checkout, you want to see how many of them opens. If they didn't open, you can send another email 5 minutes later, pretty much with the same content and different subject line, and it might be as effective. And then you really want to split test your timings. You can, if you're just starting out, start with 3 or 5 emails. That's fine in the span of like 1 hour, 10 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. And then what you want to do is once you see that the last email start generating revenue, that's the time to add another email and just continue this process until you have like 30 emails for cart recovery. That's what I've been doing back in the day. I guess it's still in effect, and I'm still doing the same with my apps for activation and stuff. So yeah, if you see that the last email in any flow generates revenue, it means you're not sending enough emails. That's at least in my idea. You always want to have for each and every of your emails at any given time some kind of split test, either subject line, timing of the day, it can be the content, can be the image, it can be the call to action. There are so many things you can test, but the main thing you need to have in mind is if there is an email without an A/B test, I'm not doing something right. So that's for cart recovery. And another great tip I think that is very important is be multi-channel. And you can really take it to the next level if you use obviously SMS. You can use other channels like Messenger, web push notifications. I've seen some stores using Viber, which is cool. So you can really explore it. And if you sell high ticket items, I would highly recommend you use postcards as well, but only if you sell high ticket items, because selling these postcards with cart recovery, it's a little more complex. You need to wait like a month of cart recovery and only then send the postcards, because otherwise you might just lose some extra money. So yeah, that can work. Back in the day, we used to sell punching bags, which is kind of an expensive product, and it worked well for us. So recommended if you sell, I don't know, cars or something. So that's another tip for cart recovery. The last tip that I think is regarding CRO, and it's not just something specific, but I would say that you really need to optimize all of these neglected parts of your store that most merchants do neglect, and they kind of lose a lot of real estate in the store. You already spend a lot of money to get new customers into or visitors into your store, and then they get to these pages where they're like zero optimization towards conversion, and you're losing a lot of money. A good example would be, and it doesn't even have to be on the online store part, but a good example would be the 404 page. 90%, 95% of Shopify store is just like 404 buy, something like that. So if you really want to take it to the next level, and that works, but it works. So I recommend everybody who's hearing it try it out. When you get to the 404 page, first of all, display a section of product recommendations. Second, you can do something like, welcome to our crazy 404 page. Just because you got here, here is a special coupon just for you for the next X amount of time, or something like that. And you'll be surprised with how many 404 orders you'll get. And that's something that works. Another example would be the thank you page. Obviously, we just talked about it. Another good example would be your transactional emails and SMS. So by default, the transactional emails and SMS by Shopify are not optimized in any way. They're just doing their work. You can really use a few simple tools to optimize these places and generate extra revenue from it. So yeah, that's definitely something else you need to consider. And another place I think that is still very young and still have no adoption almost in the App Store and in Shopify is optimizing the parts of the checkout that are in your control. I would talk mostly about shipping methods, rates, and the text around shipping methods. So you can try a lot of things. If you can automatically split test few different price points for the same shipping rate and see which one converts best, that's great. You already have the customer name, shipping address, and a lot of other information. Personalize it for the customer. Okay, if you know that the person is from California, you can display free shipping to California for you, Eric. That's much better than, you know, free shipping. And then the customer starts thinking a lot of things in his mind. So this is just a few things that I thought about when it comes to different tips regarding CRO. Yeah.
This is incredible. Yeah, that was awesome. I'm pumped. So where can people find either you personally? Where can people find, you know, your apps, your websites? Like, where can people learn more about, you know, talking to you or finding your businesses?
So first of all, you can head over to the Shopify App Store and just type in upsell or ReConvert will come up first. You can write Stelio apps and see all of our apps. We also have a YouTube channel called Stelio with a lot of tips of e-commerce. You can check it out. Nothing.
Can you spell that? Can you spell that so people know? How do you spell it?
Oh, yeah, it's STILYO.
STIY. Or sorry. Okay, STILYO.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Okay, I'm looking at your email. Okay, cool. I'll grab that link and I'll put that in. So for people go to that site, they'll find kind of the suite of products that you offer.
So yeah, Stelio is our YouTube channel. If you search that on YouTube, you'll find our channel with a lot of tips on e-commerce. If you head over to the Shopify App Store and search for Stelio apps, just add apps at the end, you'll just get all of our suite of apps. You can also head over to reconvert.io. This is our website. And we also have a special Black Friday, Cyber Monday page with a lot of deals, like deals of over 70 Shopify apps, some tips from industry leaders, checklist for Black Friday, and an ebook for success on Black Friday. So you should check it out if you find it interesting. And you can also email me personally, eric@reconvert.io.
Awesome, man. All right, well, I'll include a lot of those links below, and I appreciate your time and your insight. Thank you.
Thank you, and I apologize for anyone hearing this for my broken English.
You're all good, man. Thank you.
All right.